Hello everybody and welcome to another Nephilim builds. Today we're going to do push-ups, sit-ups, and drink plenty of juice as Vegeta from Dragonball Z. As always, keep in mind that these videos are about capturing the spirit of the character rather than capturing their abilities perfectly. With that said, let's start with ability scores. Using point buy will make strength 15. Vegeta can throw down with the best of them. And by the best, I mean Goku. Next we'll make charisma 14. Bulma saw something in him. We'll also make constitution 14. Saiyans are tough as Hiffle. After that, we'll make intelligence and dexterity 10. Vegeta doesn't dodge very often, and he sure as hell doesn't think things through most of the time. Lastly, we'll dump wisdom. Arrogant and stubborn, don't even begin to describe him. Hot take, but if your favorite thing about Vegeta is his pride, then you missed the entire point of his character arc all the way to the end of Boo. His pride is his greatest flaw, not his greatest strength, and it's what directly led to Cell absorbing 18 and Boo being released. The only reason he doesn't keep fucking up in Super is because he reined that pride in. You can still like him for actually having a character arc or for him being a good husband and father after Cell, just not his pride. Seriously, could we all just stop glorifying people's worst qualities? Anyway, for species we're going to go with Azumar, same as Goku. We'll get Celestial Resistance, Dark Vision of 60 feet, Healing Hands, and the Light Cantrip, and Speak Comment and Celestial. We'll make a custom background putting our increases into Strength and Charisma. We'll also take Athletics and Acrobatics, the Tough Feet, and Painter Supplies to finger paint with our baby boy. You know he did. Moving on to class, we're going to start off as a Sorcerer. We'll get Charisma and Constitution saving throws, take Deception and Intimidation, and be proficient with simple weapons. At level 1, we'll get Innate Sorcery, which really isn't going to do much for us, and for cantrips. We'll take Sorcerer's Burst for a Ki Blast, Thunderclap for a Shockwave, Prestidigitation for effects, and Blade Ward to fill the slot. I'll also get 2 spells, taking Shield to block and Magic Missile for that one move that never works. We're now going to multi-class the Paladin, getting light and medium armor, shields, and all weapons. At level 1, we'll get Lay on Hands and Weapon Mastery, which we won't use. Funny how not a single character we've made since the new rules came out that's gotten this has gotten to use it. You'd be amazed sometimes how many punchy types there are. We'll also get 2 spells because Paladin gets spellcasting at level 1 now. Neat! We'll get Detect Magic to Sense Energy and Compel Duel to 1v1 a bitch. At level 2 we'll get our Fighting Style, taking Unarmed Fighting because that's now on the table for Paladins. Neat! We'll also get Paladin Smite, so we now always have the Divine Smite spell prepared. Now, I want to talk about the fact that this is a spell now. Some people are saying it's useless now because you can't stack it with other smite spells anymore, and it can now be counterspelled. First of all, stacking Divine Smite with any smite spell of 4th level or lower was always inefficient for damage in the long run because they always did less damage than a Divine Smite of the same level. Sure, you'd have whatever secondary effect those spells had, but let's get real, most of you only care about damage output. It's a big part of why Rangers are still getting shit on. Their spells also used concentration, and let's face it, Paladins had better things they could concentrate on. Second, part of what made Divine Smite so busted was that it couldn't be counterspelled. You just had a bunch of extra damage that you could drop whenever you wanted. I guarantee that any DM who's had their boss monster drop in one hit from a lucky nat 20 smite on round 1 is completely in favor of being able to shut this down in an emergency. Game balancing goes both ways. Then again, there's apparently at least one person out there that thinks Divine Smite shouldn't even use spell slots. Because I guess OP still isn't enough. Oh, almost forgot, we can now smite with unarmed strikes. Neat! Anyway, the PHP is unclear on this, but the general consensus is that Paladin Smite doesn't count against our spells known, so we'll take Shield of Faith for a defensive option. We'll also go Super Saiyan with our Celestial Revelation. We can now choose our option each time we use this, but we're basically only going to use Heavenly Wings for our fly speed. At level 3 we'll get Divine Sense and our Sacred Oath. You might be thinking we're going to take the Oath of Vengeance because edgy anti-hero bullshit, but that oath actually encourages compassion, which everyone seems to forget about. And we all know that's not Vegeta. The old Oath of Conquest does fit considering the history of the Saiyans, but we're not taking that either. Instead, we'll be taking the Oath of Glory to exemplify Saiyan pride. Put simply and crudely, our tenets are stand on business, always square up, and set the standard. Don't think any Vegeta fans are going to argue with that. At the very least, it's how he sees himself. We'll get Inspiring Smite, obviously we're not sharing the temp HP, and Peerless Athlete. I'll also get Heroism for some more temp HP and Guiding Bolt. This spell is going to be pulling triple duty. At 1st and 2nd level it's our Gallic Gun, at 3rd and 4th it's Big Bang Attack, and at 5th it's our Final Flash. I'll also take Thunderous Smite for a punch with more knockback. Yeah, I know what I said, but most of these don't use concentration anymore. At level 4 I take the Warcaster feed, bumping Charisma. Get used to the odd number, we're gonna have it for a while. We'll also take Shield of Faith for another defensive option. At level 5 we'll get extra attack and Faithful Steed, giving us the Bind Steed spell for free. I feel like they did this because no one ever took this spell on their own, which is crazy because who doesn't want a steed? Sadly Vegeta doesn't have one, so we don't get to use it. We'll also get Enhanced Ability and Magic Weapon from our Oath, ignore the second, and take Aid from our HP. At level 6 we'll get Aura Protection, at level 7 we'll get Aura of Alacrity. This will help us close the distance, preferably while shouting, mine. We'll also take Locate Object to bar the Dragon Radar. At level 8 we'll raise our Constitution, at level 9 we'll get Abjure Foes. We get Haste and Protection from Energy from our Oath and take Spirit Shroud for Super Saiyan God. Stack this with Heavenly Wings and we've got Super Saiyan Blue. We'll also take Revivify for the Key Fibrillator to fill the slot. Don't know why we suddenly get 2 spells at this level plus our 2 Oath spells, but we do. At level 10 we'll get Aura of Courage and at level 11 we'll get Radiant Strikes. We'll also take Detect Evil and Good from our Energy Sensing. At level 12 we'll raise our Strength and level 13 we'll get Compulsion and Freedom of Movement from our Oath. Just ignore the first one. We'll also take Death Ward because why wouldn't you? At level 14 we'll get Cleansing Touch and at level 15 we'll get Glorious Defense. If you've been paying attention you'll notice we've been accumulating defensive abilities. This is important. We'll also take Locate Creature for more Energy Sensing. At level 16 we'll cap our Strength and level 17 we'll get Legend Lore and Yolan's Regal Presence. Regal is literally in the name here, so we'll be combining this with Heavenly Wings for Royal Blue. We'll also take Destructive Wave for the big AoE blast, which we now know doesn't have to kill you thanks to Super. Because let's get real, Super cared more about calling back to cool Z moments than it did about respecting them. We'll also take Circle of Power, combine this with all of our extra HP, AC, and other defensive options, and we have Ultra Ego. At level 18 we'll get Aura Expansion, at lastly at level 19 we'll get our Epic Boom. Fortitude and Energy Resistance are both excellent choices, and if you split our last ASI between Strength and Charisma, then Irresistible Offense is also an option. As it stands, we'll be taking the Boon of Spell Recall because it's still goated for half-casters. We'll also take Protection from Evil and Good for one last minor defensive option. Now that we're level 20, we finally have our modifiers. For Inventory, we'll take a set of Half-Plate, it's the most armor he ever gets. We'll also take a Holy Symbol, mostly because Abjure Foe specifically calls for one. Also, nothing we got from Sorcerer has material components, so we're pretty good there. Our AC with Half-Plate is 15, our move speed is 40, and our average HP is 220 with 1d6 and 19d10 hit dice. And with that, we are done. Now what can this build do? To start, we're a defensive juggernaut with tons of HP, extra HP, and temp HP with different AC boosting options and Circle of Power. We're also no slouch in offense with Divine Smites, Radiant Strike, Celestial Revelation, and our choice of Spirit Shroud or Regal Presence. And while our spellcasting isn't capped, it's high enough for Aura Protection to make up for our weak saves. For weaknesses, we can't go full offense and full defense at the same time, and both modes have multiple concentration options. Our flight speed is also limited both in duration and to 1 fight per day, and being a half-caster means our ranged output is limited. Weaknesses aside, our foes aren't dealing with the average Saiyan warrior anymore. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you'd like to support my channel, there's a link to my Patreon down in the comments. $1 a month gets you 2-day early access to my videos, a chance to vote for future characters, and access to all of my homebrew content. Let me know what you thought of this video down in the comments, and I'll see you all next time when I make Roxas from Kingdom Hearts.